Okay. So SLAs, all us OE folks are going to go into indirect for a little while here. Review supplier performance against service level agreements, otherwise known as the SLA. And the way it should be done is the SLA should be like an addendum or an annex to an MSA, which has more, which is the master services agreement, which has more of the legal stuff in it. The SLA is just there to say how this is going to get paid and how's the supplier going to get measured. So customer requirements involve product service design, data gathering, etc. Customer benefits package or bundles are methods for identifying and documenting customer requirements. They're saying go after the customer requirements. And then the user requirements for the customers that actually use the system, working with the customer to see, like software user groups are very big because software engineers are notorious for designing stuff that nobody wants to use. Service level agreements, or SLAs, common term in services purchasing, usually part of an MSA. An SLA is like a statement of work or an appendix or schedule on a goods agreement. We don't use them in a goods agreement, but service uses them all the time. It's usually attached as appendix to a schedule to a master services agreement. And an SLA defines the scope of work for a particular service. So here's a copy of PACCAR's master service agreement. I don't know, this one's from like 2015, so it might be old. And this is our template for an SLA. Service level agreement, description of services, what are the deliverables, acceptance procedure, project schedule, yada, yada, changes to services. And then you got some exhibits. So that's what an SLA does. Typically addresses things like what the provider is promising, how it will perform, the metrics that you're going to use to measure it, consequences if the supplier fails to perform, usually we're going to fine you, and any longer term aspects of the agreement. So sections of an SLA usually vary, but more common elements are intro, scope of work, performance measurement, feedback. I wouldn't call that conflict management. It's not really a more common for but remuneration, that's always in there, how they're going to get paid. Customer role and responsibilities, signatures. These are usually found in the MSA, which is the bigger document, but they can also be put in SLA. Warranties and remedies, intellectual property rights, legal responsibility in case of disputes, termination. See, that's like our LTA. It's got all that good legal mumbo jumbo in it. The warranty is usually a separate document for most companies. An SLA will specify expectations and desired service levels, support, and incentives. So specific examples, expected levels of customer satisfaction, what the lead time is going to be, what constitutes on-time delivery, service design, I guess what the service is, and execution, customer cost performance, things like what the price is, what the service costs are, what the ancillary costs are, and then quality. So what's the acceptable level for the service to be performed? You got to spell that all out. Periodic inspections, sequential sampling plans, customer requirements. Maybe you got a as is and a to be processes that some suppliers working on for you. Statistical methods and techniques. Oh, metrology, the scientific study of measurement. This is a little bit over the top for what you would do with most SLAs. You're not going to get in there and do sampling methodology and all that kind of mess, or use control charts and that kind of junk. Testing methods, customers may wish to specify testing methods required. Usually that's the case. For an SLA, a customer might specify how a software developer will test the software. And then levels of inspection. Rigorous visual inspection or inspection with equipment. I mean, how are you going to inspect the product? Are you going to inspect it at all? Measurement methods. Customer surveys. Usually determine the areas of strength and weaknesses in the quality systems. 4-step process for developing a survey. Identify customer requirements, develop and validate the instrument. Survey monkey, implement the instrument on email and analyze the results. Pretty straightforward. Focus groups. Now, I know we use these a lot in division marketing. When the understanding of a certain dimension of customer service or product attributes are unclear. Qualitative research methods are useful for learning more about the topic. Sit around with the guys at the dealership and say, what's wrong with this truck? Groups are focused in 2 ways. They draw individuals with similar characteristics or demographics, and they narrowly address a single topic. So you got to limit the discussion to some market segment or something about the truck. Potential distortions, subjectivity of the end user. They can be very general in their responses, which doesn't help you. It's important to understand the limitations of any data gathering. So the measurement system analysis, or MSA, if you've been to the Six Sigma course, tool for determining whether variation is a result of actual process variation or simply measurement error. So you got to go do your MSA to see if your measurements are good. Benchmarking selected practices and results of one organization are compared to those with another. 2E3 for more information. See tax. I'm not sure what tax are. Legal requirements. There are some legal requirements written. Sometimes you need to put them in an SLA. Dealing with international suppliers, different legal requirements. You got to work those out. And supplier capacity and capabilities. How much capacity will be necessary for the needed product and how much is reserved for PACCAR? So involves specifying needed capabilities such as product design, supply chain capabilities. And this kind of stuff probably comes in a lot when you're setting up contracts for software or software, right? Guys that are writing software for us. Common errors in SLAs, acceptance or outcome criteria is missing. So you don't really know when they're done. Many people are excellent at staying busy while accomplishing nothing. You do not want that with your contractors working under an SLA. So to prevent it, set clear outcomes or deliverables. Look for milestones, productivity standards, or something measurable to demonstrate performance that equates to more than a supplier time card. Language describing each required action. Some SLA writers take the supplier's proposal, switch out the title, and call it a day. This will lead to SLAs reading thus: we propose to do 1, 2, and 3. State what is required directly. Supplier will complete 1, 2, and 3 by September 30. The entire SLA is written in a passive tense. The report will be submitted. The test will be conducted. If any documents ever needed active tense, it's an SLA. Writing in a passive tense is much harder to understand than an active tense. The supplier will submit the report. That's the active tense. The supplier will conduct the test. And then trifecta of payments, deliverables, and deadlines. So some SLA payments and deadlines. Some SLAs have payments and deadlines, but fall short on describing the deliverables precisely. Other SLAs include deliverables and deadlines, but don't clarify how they will affect payment. You got to do both. These are some Expedia, MSA, and SLAs, but they're from around 2008, but you can take a look at them if you're interested. All right. Emily Dressengacher is a category manager for Acme. She is contracting with a landscaping company to do the gardening around the building. Emily wants to employ some specific measures, such as how many times the grass is cut in a week, to incentivize or penalize the company based on performance. What type of contract should she use? Any guesses out there?
A.
Yeah, you guys better get this one right. Yep, it is the service level agreement, which is actually attached to a MSA, Master Services Agreement. What are the three methods that can be used in an SLA to measure desired service levels? Well, I can tell you what I think. This one doesn't have benchmarking, so like that. All the rest of them have benchmarking. I'm not sure that that is a measured device. So I would say this is probably A. These guys say. C, okay. Benchmarking, I guess, is a measurement device. Because the three measurement methods given in the text, they all have comparison or standard measurement to them. So customer surveys, focus groups, and benchmarking. I don't know that the first two are really measurement devices, but okay. All right, there's 5 questions out there. You guys go ahead and start working them. And raise your hand when you get done. Otherwise, we'll go over answers at 2:20. It's 10. 990. Oh, 15. Oh. All right, let's go over some answers here real quick. I'll post these answers so you guys can look at the math on the first two questions. So remember, when you get questions like this that are a mile long and require a lot of math, they only give you a minute for it. So you need to kind of develop a shorthand where you look at it and it's like, okay, so we're going to be adding money to his monthly amount or subtracting money. And it looks like, we'll be adding money because we've got more of this positive stuff we're paying him for than the negative. Well, maybe not. Here. Well, here it's pretty even. So it's going to be right around 5,000. But anyway, let's get to the answers. So remember, divide by 2 for the pricing on this one. So 202 minus 200, 5002. So it did come out pretty even. And then the second one is alpha. This one's a little bit different, but option A is what you want. And the math is here. So come up with 138 and 52. You multiply by 5, you get 690. You multiply by 25 and you get 1300. Add the two together, 1990. Add that to 25. There you go. All right, 3 is delta. Benchmarking study will compare Acme's employees benefit package to other firms. And 4 is Bravo. You should always specify how the service will be measured. And 5 is Charlie. Service level agreements normally define KPIs based on the customer's specific requirements. All right, any questions? If not, you guys all go have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you. Thank you.